So, Black Myth Wukong came out. Um, and another crazy monumental thing happened within the gaming world that needs to be talked about. Uh, Realistically, um, this game is something that I personally believe should have been something that was just it should have just came and went, like a fart in the wind. It should not have been a big deal because this game was announced back in E3, right? Remember when that was still alive? It was announced then, and it just kind of was met with a type of feel. And it was like that was only just like the initial introduction of it, but then it actually came with gameplay, and the same prospect was brought up and thought up as well. It was just a simple kind of idea. So it wasn't really anything special or spectacular because it seemed just like a typical um, Dark Souls clone, which it is. But honestly, it was like the game itself had the exact same thing that happened to Stellar Blade happen to it, which is what I believe is the monumental aspect about this game. Now, personally, I'm not going to buy it. I'm probably not going to buy it, or I may play it at some point in time, if it becomes like on the PlayStation Store or anything like that, maybe, but I'm not going to personally buy it. Not that I don't think that it's bad or anything. I personally don't like the Dark Souls games or those types of games in general. I typically don't play those. I like for my action adventure story games to be more fast paced, and because of that, I typically don't play the slow moving ones like the Dark Souls stuff. So Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Wukong, Sekiro, those games, I just stay away from. I'm not into those things. But I'm not saying that anything is wrong with the game, or if you're into it, like, that's besides the point. The important factor is what the game did, despite the current gaming culture, as well as the horrible gaming media. Do not forget, more than anything, this should always be looked upon as uh, the battle against the media against the culture. They should always like think of it like that. And it was like, because there is a huge discrepancy behind what it is that the media is trying to push, which is circumventing changing gaming in general, towards what the consumers actually want. Now, this game was honestly just a whatever. It wasn't really big on anyone's radar or anything like that. It was a Dark Souls game coming out from China. That's basically all it was. But upon inspection, this game happens to be something that realistically was, it just fit within the motif of the Monkey King story and things like that. But in accordance to the media, what their inspection was that this game lacked diversity. Oh my God. Say it isn't so. But that's the truth. That's what they said. That's what was told. That's what they told people. This game doesn't got diversity. It has one female character. It doesn't even have that. Oh my God. It was the dumbest fucking thing that you could possibly imagine. And again, similar to Stellar Blade, which essentially was a game that everyone looked at and was kind of like, oh, it's just Bayonetta. Or, it's Bayonetta. It's Bayonetta. They're just doing Bayonetta. Which it's not, but that was the initial appeal towards from the gamers. But then the gaming media approached this and it was like, how? You can't sexualize women in a video game? And then gamers went, oh, really? And they just bought Stellar Blade in droves. Now, the issue with Stellar Blade was the fact that they then censored a bunch of shit that was showcased within Stellar Blade that essentially no one had any problems with. The skimpy clothes you can get, they can't be that skimpy. Why not? I'm buying this game with the intent of having this character in skimpy clothing. Right, but it's dumb. They did dumb censoring. And to me, I felt that was just a complete betrayal towards what it is that was going on with the gaming, with gamers, and then what it is that they were promoting and presenting, and then just the overall betrayal of taking that away from the game after you bought it. Hell, they even toned down the blood as well, which is also a big issue for me. But the game itself was met with monumental praise simply for being something that people wanted. They wanted a game where you can have a main character wearing skimpy clothing and then goes around fighting and killing monsters with a bunch of blood showing. And then they got it. And the only problem is that they kind of toned down the blood and the skimpy clothing. But other than that, everything else was still present. Everything that they told you that they were going to give you was still present. The game is still playable. It wasn't a buggy mess on day one. It wasn't something completely ridiculous. Cyberpunk 2077 with a huge accolade of promises that there was no fucking way they could possibly keep up with. Cyberpunk 2077. It had none of that. It was just a game people could play. And then it just got that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful media boost of being something that the gaming media told you you don't want to play because it has A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The problem is that all gamers want is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So what does that tell you about the gaming media? Well, aside from the fact that they're basically ran and done by a bunch of fucking idiots and some of the most retarded people that you could ever possibly imagine, you have yourself right now this huge fork in the road where when it comes to a game being announced or even being promoted or talked about or whatever, you have the onset of looking at, hey, what is it that the game is actually going to do versus what is the gaming media going to tell you about the game. And realistically, you have to go down both roads to get a grasp on exactly what the fuck this game is actually going to be, or what is it that's worthwhile about this game. Because the gaming media is going to promote, highlight, and showcase all that they don't like about this game. But the gaming media is filled with a bunch of people who are not gamers. They're not gamers, right? Let's just face facts. These people are not gamers, because if they were, they would not complain about the shit that they complain in video games, because none of those things matter towards a video game. Wukong got a negative review from IGN because it has a lack of diversity. What the fuck that got to do with the game being a playable game? Nothing. Not one fucking thing. I can't remember which publication actually gave it a lower score than Cyberpunk 2077, which they gave a 9. I believe it was IGN as well, which they gave a 9 out of 10 for when Cyberpunk 2077 first launched. When it first launched, they gave that a 9 out of 10, and then they gave Wukong like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. Fucking crazy, right? And it's like to ignore the fact that these people do shit like this, especially when it comes towards the apex of the gaming culture. Like at this point in time, after all the bullshit that we've had going on within gaming and things like that, within the publications, within the media, within just the developers themselves being fucking crazy, Neil Druckmann, you now reached a critical point where essentially you have a massive amount of people who poke fun at the gaming media for completely missing the mark on the gaming culture in general. So at first it was something to where it was a threat towards the overall evolution of gaming, to which there was a halt. It didn't stop what is currently going on, because we still got games like Concord, fucking what's that one that bombed terribly? No, it was Concord as well. You got that fucking Dustborn. Woo! Man, I feel sorry for anyone that decided to play that game. And then you got Star Wars, the new Star Wars that's coming out, the Outlaws. Yeah, terrible game. All of these, all those 3 games are terrible. They are unbelievably terrible games. But according to the gaming media, those are the games that people want to play. Those are the games that everyone is super excited for. Those are the games that we just can't wait to get our fucking hands on. But the culture is constantly screaming at you, no, it's not. This looks like shit. This plays like shit. What is wrong with it? To which their response is, oh, you don't like female leads. No one said anything about that. This game sucks. The Star Wars Outlaws game has such a terrible stigma attached to it, just from showcasing things that they gave to like IGN publications and whatnot, to which people actively got to see the gameplay in motion So like the gameplay that we're currently talking about, while the actual person who reviewed the game was speaking on it, and it's one of the most hilarious fucking things you could see, as they're saying like the blaster battles seem real rigid and like real. It was something that they were saying. I can't remember. But it was like, while he was saying this, the clip that they showed, the characters were clipping in and out of the scene. One of the NPCs just froze, and another character was being shot up in the chest and not even flinching. Terrible. Yet, that was the footage IGN decided to show, along with the words that this is going to be a great game. This looks amazing. It got some depth. Yet, the blaster had depth to it. They matter and whatnot, showing that the actual AI behind the game was completely stupid. Nothing in it looked even remotely good. They used the little motion cap for like the female lead, but it turns out in real life she's pretty, but in the game they made her ugly. Weird. So fucking weird, these people and the things that they're doing. And that's how you understand and look at shit to where it's like, I'm not going to waste my money on that, regardless of how new it is or what it is, like what gen they're going to be using or what engine they're going to run it on. None of that matters. I'm not going to waste my money on that. And you need the gaming media to give you said information so you can understand, so you can see the crap that they're trying to feed you. And then no, don't eat it. That's how you use that one road and that fork that you got. The other fork is essentially just doing your own due diligence for shit that's gonna come out. Looking at gaming trailers and things like that, and then just waiting for gameplay to come out before you fucking pre-order a game. Don't just look at a fucking cutscene, look at gameplay. And then you understand that, hey, this is actually gonna be something worthwhile. I'll pre-order it, or I'm gonna get it when it comes out, or I'm gonna wait till a fucking sale's gonna happen, because Lord knows Steam has a bunch of sales every fucking year, and PlayStation even puts themselves on sales every fucking year. Hell, if you got Xbox Game Pass, you basically got all the Xbox games. So there you go with that. Why are you wasting money? This can be so easy. I don't understand why you don't understand. But the aforementioned issue that's going on with the Black Myth Wukong game is the fact that essentially, the game media is saying there's no diversity, while gamers are saying it's fun. And so what it is that needs to be, so like again, what I'm pointing out and what it is that I'm just speaking on is the fact that this is clearly another sign that gamers need to understand that, hey, these people do not have your best interest in heart. Now remember, they're about to make another Assassin's Creed game that looks like shit. And it's like, it's probably gonna be a functioning game. Don't know. The game isn't out. Ubisoft cuts corners a lot. But realistically, the game itself and then what it is that Ubisoft has done, how you feel about the Assassin's Creed franchise, whatever. But again, this is something that, like, as soon as it gets released, everyone's going to try and hype it up and talk about it and whatnot and sweep everything else under the rug. Yet, the games like Black Myth Wukong honestly showcase and gives you this sense of diversity within games that gamers have been wanting for a long time, which would only help improve gaming as a whole in the long run. Now, I'm not talking about gameplay, because if I was talking about gameplay, I would have to go against Black Myth Wukong, because like I said, it's just Dark Souls. But what I'm speaking on is the fact that gaming studios in general, especially the ones in America and Japan, are gonna have to start cracking down and making games people actually want to fucking play, because you're making shit like Dustborn, which again, my God, look up what you do in that game, and I swear to God, you might throw up. You just might. It's gross. It's stupid. It's dumb. It was only made because I don't even know why it was made or who they thought was going to want to play it. But they did it, and it's so dumb, but hilarious. It's hilariously dumb. Get a group of friends together and watch someone do the gameplay for it. Pretty sure you're just going to have a ball cracking up and laughing, because it's hilarious. But that game was made with the intent of what it is that they wanted, rather than what it is that was going to make money that gamers wanted. It was just, what did they want to instill into the video game mythos, rather than what would have actually been good. to have in the video game mythos. So I say mythos like it's fake, but it just shows you the overall underlining problem behind video games, which is the fact that these people don't care about you. They don't care about what you want. They don't care about your escapism. They don't care about how games function in general. Fuck, the Dragon Age had a new trailer, and as much of a fan as I am of the Dragon Age games, I couldn't help but look at it and go, ugh, I don't care for this. I just really don't care for this. Why? Because I remember the E3 segment that they had where they showed a bunch of blue-haired people talking about how they're working on the game, and then I knew, no, because you have blue hair, you're fat and white with glasses, you don't represent me. You don't know what the fuck I like. You should not be the lead writer on a game. And the only thing that keeps coming out of your mouth is how you're going to be diverse, and you're going to separate yourself from the other games. It's Dragon Age. It's supposed to stay Dragon Age. Fuck. Why would I invest so much time and brain power into falling in love with this world if all you're going to do is come behind it and fuck it up and just use the name for the namesake? I don't want that. I want what it is that was given to me in the beginning. Just another game of it. That's it. No one looks at Super Mario and goes, man, I wish I was playing a trans pink plumber that name was Michelle. And not that the clothes are pink, because Mario's had pink clothes, but just the character is all pink. And they call themselves a plumber, but they look nothing like any character from Mario. But they jump around and they jump on Goombas and Koopas. But those Goombas and Koopas have to give consent before they get jumped. And that's a game that they were released. Nintendo will never do that. They will never fucking do that. But boy, wouldn't it be hilarious if they did? But essentially, that's the issue. That's what you got going on. Which essentially that's what can be fixed with games like Black Myth Wukong. That game had over 2 million players on Steam in one day. That's a lot. Concord couldn't even break 1,000 in the day that it actually got released. When it was an open beta, it was 1,300 for like a couple hours, only to then go down to 200 the entire time the open beta was open. To which they don't tell you, because, you know, they don't like to promote this shit, but they were giving away the open betas after the fact that the numbers went down when people decided they didn't want to play it anymore. And now that the Marvel Alliance game is out, fuck, people are leaving Overwatch to go play that. You think they're going to go play Concord? No. I think not. A game that you have to pay 70 bones for, that looks uninspiring, uninteresting, just completely dumb. So fucking dumb. Yet, these people are the ones who have they got their fingers on the pulse in the gaming world, in the gaming culture. They're the ones that you need to talk to and see when it comes to discussing and breaking up and like diving deep into what it is that gamers genuinely want within their video games. Now, these people do not have your best interest at heart. They are terrible people, and hopefully shit like Black Myth Wukong will continue to inspire companies to understand, hey, if we're worshiping the almighty dollar, then we need to stop listening to people who have no idea what the fuck that is. And they're just completely ignoring everyone screaming at us what it is that they want in order to give us their almighty dollar. Because that's all it's business. Every single thing about this is business. Why are you looking at it as if this is coming from any perspective of passion from these head honchos who are greenlighting all of this dumb shit? They have been told that this will help them get business. That's all. That's just, they've been told that. But there's been no proof to correlate those two things in any form of entertainment that has existed. Nothing has came out that has shown you, if you have unbelievably woke, diverse, trans, gay, who gives a fuck, who gives a shit stuff inside of your TV show, movie, video game, that you will get a huge wad of cash. People are just gonna throw their fucking money at you. You're just gonna get so much money because you decided to go gay. That has never happened. There's nothing that has done that has been profitable at all. Nothing. Nothing that has been one thing and then been turned to another thing, completely disregarding the consumer in order to justify its change that brought about so much fucking money. That doesn't happen. That hasn't happened. So why do they keep instilling to follow that type of idea or identity? And it's like, hopefully, with all of these games, essentially, you got Stellar Blade done by a Korean studio, Black Myth Wukong done by China. You have all of these things to back up the claim that, hey, people are throwing money at this shit, but all the gay shit that we keep making, they ain't even looking twice at it. They're just completely ignoring it. Now, like, they're completely ignoring us so much that we don't even have games that are out for us to promote at the Summer Games Fest or the fucking PlayStation, the fucking PlayStation State of Play or anything like that. We don't even have anything coming out because everything that we put all our money into was stuff that's like battle royales that last all year. That's like everyone working at our studios have to be around the clock making games for that, or the fact that it's like all these other studios from all these other countries are releasing games, but we're banning those games in our country simply because either it's too damn sexy or they ain't got a PlayStation Network account. And so it gotta be out of here because it's too sexy. It's too Mr. S. The S stands for sexy. It's too Mr. Sexy. Also, you better get that fucking PlayStation Network account. I don't care what you got to do. They need to connect to our servers. Goddamn it. I mean, think of how detrimental this stuff is going to be in the long run. For the fact that I'm gonna leave on this note, because again, this is a positive for gaming in general. And it's like, regardless of what you think of Black Myth Wukong and the games that are gonna come hereafter, because they ain't gonna do nothing but make more Dark Souls clones. In the long run, this is a good thing. But I'm gonna leave on this. Think of how big Black Myth Wukong is right now. I keep seeing people having gameplay of it and wanting to play the game and talking about the game and things like that. Hell, I just did a video on it. But I keep seeing people talk about this game. You can't play it on Xbox. How much money do you think Xbox has missed out because you can't play this game on Xbox? Right? And it's like, nah, that's crazy. And then I didn't even know that until I saw like a freaking Mighty Keith video. I was like, wait, you can't play this on Xbox? And I was like, damn. How worthless of a console is that now? All things considered. If you can't play it on Xbox, but people are screaming to the high heavens how great it is. I wonder though, can you play Dustborn on Xbox? I'm joking. Oh, fuck. Yeah. What does that tell you? To me, it just tells you that, these people have no fucking idea what they're doing, even though they're a part of a culture and a media franchise that has been around, that has been popularized since the fucking 70s, or since like basically the 70s when it got big. Well, bigger than it was. And they have no clue what the consumer wants, even though the consumer hasn't changed what they wanted since you've had the whole console market. Because never forget, it's not that gamers wanted Mortal Kombat to have, or games in general, to have an ESRB rating. That's because of parents. It's not as if all gamers were aggressively angry upon, ripping off heads in the old Mortal Kombat or anything like that, or shooting demons in Doom. That's something that came from outliers looking into the media and then using it to blame for other shit, and then needing regulations to then step up to coerce what's going on within that form of media. So never forget, a majority of the changes and things that go on within gaming ain't got shit to do with gamers. We're perfectly fine getting the same old. All we demand is that it works. You add something new to it. You just piece together a little bit. It's the best of both worlds. You give it something new, but it has to be exactly a little bit of the same. And you just kind of let it off when just go. and it's respected like the art that it should be. But instead, they made Dustborn. Someone gave the people who made Dustborn money. I believe the government gave them money. Look into that if you want to. How fucking crazy is that? And they thought people were not only going to play it, they were going to love it and just love it. But they didn't. Oh no. Go play Black Myth Wukong if you want, because it seems like people are having fun with that. I hear tell that it's not gay. It's really, really not gay, and that's bad apparently. Also, there's no bitches in it. Yeah.